Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. This one's sponsored by Chris R. This is their final donation for Painter, and we're going to talk about this one a little bit. First of all, I do want to say, as of the recording of this video, Modern Horizons 2 is legal on Magic Online, so we might start running into some Ragavans or Endurance or some other sweet things. Hard to say, but I'm looking forward to whatever it is we find. Okay, so when Chris sent me this donation, they said, "Hey, I'm doing this to support you. If you think this deck list isn't going to work, let me know. We can change it." And I think this deck list isn't going to work. So this was the first draft that I was sent. The deck is built around Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, which honestly I don't believe is a playable legacy card. I have tried this card in a number of different shells, and it has basically always fallen flat. It's too hard to cast on turn 2. It's too hard to flash back on turn 4. A lot of the decks that want to play this either want to be playing a lot of basics or like want to be playing some soul lands in addition to that, and this card is so clunky. So the original version was a red-black painter list that had a whole bunch of black cards. This was not a light splash, right? Like these are black cards. This is a card you want to play on turn 1. And I honestly just didn't think the mana was going to work. I thought the deck was going to trip over itself and die. And so I went to the painter Discord and I was like, all right, folks, what do you have for black-red lists? And they linked me some stuff. It was old, so I had to do quite a bit of retooling. Here's what I came up with. I'm going to call this Reanimpainter. Okay, so here was my idea. I thought that if Goblin Engineer can go and get some sick things into the graveyard anyway, why not play a couple of Reanimates? And that can be another way of cheating a large fatty into play, or getting back some of your artifacts. Now, something that I realized when I played the other two versions of Painter that I played in the last month was that sometimes you just don't have the artifact count that you need to get all of your stuff back out of the graveyard. And so the ability to just reanimate a Painter Servant or a Recruiter and get whatever piece you need seems useful. I thought about playing Entomb as well, and maybe even a Miser's Grizzlebrand, but I wasn't sure if that was just going too far. So in game 1, we'll have the ability to reanimate a Wormcoil Engine or one of our combo pieces or tutors, or even just a Plague Engineer to be rude. And then in game 2, against decks that can remove our creatures, or where a Wormcoil Engine might not win, we'll have access to Inkwell Leviathan as just a rather annoying card. I'm not sure if I'm also supposed to play Magmatic Channeler as another way to loot these things into the graveyard to make the reanimates better, but this is what I'm trying out. Notably, if you want to give up on being able to get Wormcoil Engine or Inkwell Leviathan, Unearth basically does the same thing in this deck. The card that I'm most excited about in this shell is Dredge. This Dredge solves a painter problem, which is sometimes you run out of artifacts. It just pluses and makes an artifact, which is great. You can minus to destroy an artifact or creature, which is probably going to be pretty important in this blue-red Delver heavy world. And it just like protects itself, makes jump blockers for large things like Tarmogoyfs. I think this is a good addition. The other thing I added to this shell was Smuggler's Copter. I noticed I frequently had a handful of small 1/1s on the board that couldn't really attack or block profitably. I think Smuggler's Copter helps with that. Something that can wall a Ragavan or trade with a Delver or Dragon Rage Channeler. So I think that's okay. As far as the sideboard goes, this is where I think I want the Thoughtseizes that the original build had. Um, I want to know if I have to mulligan for Disruption, and the Thoughtseizes will help with the non-blue combo matchups. Blue combo matchups, I think we've got those covered, but the non-blue ones, we could use a little help. I also added a pile of Lightning Bolts to the sideboard, again, because I think Blue-Red Delver is going to be one of the most heavily played decks in these first couple days of the new format. Otherwise, most of the rest of the Karn package is just a tutor board for, your combo pieces and assorted hate cards. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. If you had any cool experiences with Modern Horizons 2 already, let me know in the comments, and likes are always appreciated on the videos. It helps with the algorithm stuff a lot. Let's battle. And it's kind of mediocre. I have a mix of lands and spells, but I don't really have a proactive game plan. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one. And this one. This hand's slow but acceptable. Can I keep City? Can I keep City and pitch Ancient Tomb and Petal? I think I play this game out more slowly. And just try to actually keep my lands around. Just go Swamp Pass. I don't know what we're playing against. Wouldn't have a turn 1 play there. Maybe Maverick? Oh, Cloudpost. We have a Magus of the Moon in the sideboard. That'll be useful. We're probably safe to fetch a duel, but I shouldn't ever need black, so I'm just going to fetch a mountain. If we treat any blast we find as a land destruction spell, this matchup could be okay. Getting Warping Wailed. I am getting Warping Wailed. Well, good thing I have another. I think I want to thin lands out of the deck. I believe I am just getting an Engineer here. Because next turn I have Painter plus Engineer, and then I'll just need to find an artifact. Okay, my opponent hit scary amounts of mana now. Very scary amounts of mana. Yeah, that's bad. I don't really have an artifact, huh? Awkward. It's just a distraction. I can play this and it might eat up my opponent's turn. It's not a great spot for me. I think I'd rather play out a couple of different creatures here. Iron Bridge doesn't beat the Walking Ballista that's on board. Grab Grindstone. So I'm going to leave my opponent with some choices for how to play their turn. They may end up dumping a whole bunch of mana into their Walking Ballista. Don't really think there's any reason to do that there before taking another draw step, but hey. Risk. Okay. Now what? Big Ballista is big. This may be the only thing they have going for them. I'm gonna hold this back on the off chance that this helps to protect a Dredge at some point. Lol, 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 lol. Okay. I also just get to get a Painter here, which can wall the Walking Ballista. I think that's fine. Because a liquid metal coating stopping one of these lands still leaves my opponent with, like, Ugin levels of mana. We'll see. If my opponent does just have another bomb, my board might not be good enough. You know, something like an Olamog will be devastating here. Like, I lose these two things. But if my opponent doesn't have something here, I just go minus Grindstone and win. Man. Oh, it's not happening. Thought it was happening. I am being attacked by Walking Ballista. Feels like something like an All Is Dust might be coming. I'm just going to go ahead and jump. Yeah, everything is blue here. Oh shit, that's the lands too. Ah. Alright. Was that good for them? I mean, they didn't lose, but... Awkward. I'm not going to play that. Where am I? I can play most cards that aren't named Dredge. I'm not going to play it. Okay, well, it looks like it was good for them. Now I'll play it. Alright, well, I figured out what was in my opponent's hand. Alrighty time. Alright, Oh no, I just fucking died. That's so unfortunate. My opponent Armageddon, or no, I don't know. My opponent played a card that destroyed all permanents, then made 4 land drops in a row and assembled Dark Depths on the 4th turn. I don't think I get to be mad about that one. Honestly, I'm just kind of impressed. Alright, that's the All Is Dust Painter interaction. Okay. I don't want Plague Engineer. That card is not doing a ton. Pretty much everything else that's in my main deck is totally reasonable. I will board the Magus of the Moon in so that I have access to that off Imperial Recruiter. And then maybe a Miser's Thoughtseize, just kind of round out the deck list. And maybe we can put something fat into the graveyard and then reanimate it, pay a billion life. That's somewhat unlikely to happen because a bunch of the Eldrazi shuffle, but it's a pipe dream. This hand is medium, and Ensnaring Bridge doesn't actually win the long game because of things like Walking Ballista, so I'm not going to keep a hand purely on the strength of an Ensnaring Bridge. This hand is much better. I will keep this. Bridge? I think Bridge goes. The rest of my hand kind of like goes together and forms a very good curve. Alright, Miser's Thoughtseize. I think I just take the map. The Mirage Mirror is kind of annoying. It can do some weird things, but I am not sure if I am supposed to get a combo piece here. I just get LED and work towards Karn Lattice. But don't know if that's good. I think there's a lot of way to play that tutor there. Karn shutting off Mirage Mirror is cool. Okay. Karn shutting off that is also cool. I don't think I need to destroy the candle this turn. I know those are famous last words, but I know 4 of the 5 cards in my opponent's hand. I know they're not Cloudposts. That is how it goes. Alright, land for Karn? No land for Karn. A few ways to play this turn. I don't think I worry too much about the artifacts. Because Karn will shut them off once I draw colored mana. I think I just nuke the Cloudpost. Just keep this upticking. I think that just ends up winning me the game. Because I think once Karn hits play, I will just have a huge, huge advantage. Not only does it shut off my opponent's stuff, but it also works me towards Grindstone in the course of 2 turns. Okay. Nice. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to Pyroblast a land now. I can go and blow up the artifacts in the short term. Probably fine to do so. Hold on. Artifact creature or land. So if they turn it into a land, I don't actually blow it up. So that means I should probably start here and Pyroblast this. Okay, now that they can't activate Mirage Mirror. I think we've got this one locked up. All right, I forgot about that. That's fine. Does this work on either graveyard? No. Let's grab Grindstone. Okay, no need to attack here. I have, lethal on board, so to speak, next turn. Don't need to walk into something dumb here. I also just have Lattice, I guess. All right. GG's. Not GG's. GG's. This hand is medium minus. It has no plan. Turn one, Goblin Engineer, get Painter. Turn two, swap Great Furnace for Painter, Pyroblast a land. That's okay. This is probably better than mulliganing again. This hand's a little weak. A Warping Whale, for example, really slows things down. Well. And got pretty good all of a sudden. Now I just play Badlands. And I hold up Pyroblast. And then I have a Grindstone kill the following turn. No timing restrictions on this, right? No timing restrictions on this. Oh, I guess I need one more mana. Ooh, opponent did not crack the map there. Interesting. I might get Bojuka bogged. I want to play around that. They Bojuka bog. I just get another, right? Cost me a land. I try to play around that. For sure. Um, do a little mix and match here. Grab Painter's Servant. Pass the turn. I have double crop rotation. I want to go ahead and do this. They do have double crop rotation. I was just wondering if they got scared. That's fine. So with one land, I represent lethal. There is this blast zone, which is a little annoying, but Goblin Engineer probably works through that. One's going to be tricky. Painter plus Pyroblast, to me, that's okay, but that's very good. Okay, they've just named my Grindstone, which was already shut off, but sure. Alright, everything is blue. I think I go to their upkeep and then try to Pyroblast Karn. I'll hold up Goblin Engineer. I will poke Karn with Recruiter on the off chance that something goes wrong and this Pyroblast doesn't resolve. Facial Contortion could do it. Alright. Person Grip is some old tech. I'm back. I don't think I've ever done that exact trick before. Eat your heart out, split second. Ooh. Do you have something spooky in your last 2 cards? I don't have a kill next turn as of right now. I just don't have enough mana. Not too far off. So I've got 4 mana. I can play Bridge, Weld Bridge into Grindstone, win the following turn. But I think this wins. The Bojuka Bog's in play. Shouldn't have too many things to worry about. Other than the Blast Zone. Blast Zone is still worrisome. But now my opponent can't activate it. They activate it, they die. They need to hold it up to destroy things. So if they try to put charge counters on it, they die. I can force the Blast Zone activation now. And then keep my other stuff around guaranteed. Or I can sit on it. Sitting on it isn't great, though. Oh, maybe it is. We might be in for a bit of a slog. Oh, they die. Okay. That works too. Goblin Engineer returns Grindstone. I have to do this way. Oh shit, there's Emrakul. Right. Okay. Forgot about that, because I won with Karn last game. haven't talked about that interaction earlier. Blah. Okay. This is the sort of thing that happens when you play all sorts of decks all the time and you aren't tuned in to particulars of the deck. I was supposed to be playing this game differently. Probably supposed to board in surgicals. I don't have surgicals. Right. That might be a deck building mistake. Hmm. Alright, well, let's just find a Karn or something and win the game that way. That qualifies as the or something. Two, 4, 5, 6. I think I need to get this ticking up. I need... I don't know, maybe making 3 ensnaring bridges is fine. Sure, that's fine. I don't think that card does anything for me currently. Yeah, my plan is Lattice Lock. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to blow up these candles. They do stuff, but they don't do that much stuff. The difference between 1 candle and 2 candle is small until they get another Cloudpost. I'm gonna get Emrakuld. Get Ugand. That's pretty good. Alright, good old Defender. Karn into land plus Lattice would be cool. Not gonna be worth milling myself here. That doesn't do anything. Now that it doesn't cost me life, it may be worth milling myself. That's an Emrakul. Alright. GG's. I think this is a hard matchup for me now that I realize the whole Emrakul thing actively. I don't know, like looking at the cards that are in my graveyard and exile, I don't know how I could have played this game differently to like beat this Ugin that was eventually going to come along. Like I can Goblin Engineer for the Worm Coil, try to play towards triple Worm Coil with Dredge, but it's hard. I don't have surgicals in the board, and without those surgicals, I don't have a great way to fight against Emrakul. So that's probably a deck building error on my part. This just doesn't have enough mana. This is fine. How am I playing this? Turn 1 copter? I think I go turn 1 copter, so I throw back welder because it doesn't work on the curve. I am a little worried about the amount of damage that I'll do to myself over the course of this game. Like, if my opponent is playing a Delver deck, and I'm just facing aggressive pressure starting turn 1, that's spooky. I think I'm getting bad lands here because my Ancient Tomb is my more valuable land currently. Oh. Snare is definitely an unexpected card in the current metagame. Like, I'm expecting the metagame to be dominated by 1-drops like Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler. Notably, I do wonder if my opponent's Wasteland was correct. Like, in that position, I'm more concerned about my colored mana. Like, is it better for them to cut me off of 2 colors simultaneously than to take the acceleration? Unsure. I think I play the Plague Engineer first. I want to play Ensnaring Bridge around Daze if possible. I will name Human here, not Monkey. I don't even know if my opponent has Ragavan and friends yet. It's very early in the set's release on Magic Online. Cards are currently only available in treasure chests. Dismember. Okay. That does mean that Plague Engineer is still living, though. Famous last words. You like a Hooting Mandrills? Delver now. Really want to play this around Daze. But despite the fact that this can be awkward, I would much rather have this be Dazed. I can get this... Oh, or Forced. That's even better. Ponder. Sure. Was no shuffle with the Ponder. Oh yeah, just play another creature. That's fine. I've seen a lot of my opponent's flex slots. They might not actually have something like a Brazen Borrower that gets rid of this Ensnaring Bridge. Like, I have seen Dismember, Forked Bolt, Bell Snares, and Stifles. Like, it is very possible they're on, like, no or maybe 1 outs to this thing. Now, notably, I have turned on, like, Force of Will pitch lands. For sure. My best draw right now is just a Pyroblast, so that I can Pyroblast a Brazen Borrower. It's gonna be slow. I am not going to be holding cards back very often right now. I need to just keep everything coming out of my hand for ensnaring bridge-based reasons. Yep, that's fine. There's more in the deck, plus a bunch of welders. Now, my opponent's build does have Stifle. That's something I'm going to want to keep in mind. Perfect. I am going to go ahead and drop this and mill my opponent, because if I can take out a Brazen Borrower via milling, that wins the game. But I took some bad cards out of their deck. Not get distracted by cards that are good has one purpose. You have a green card? There is a world where I just don't draw lands ever, and a bunch of cards get stuck in my hand, in which case I have to Pyroblast this. Can't leave this up this turn, I don't think. I think I just put the Wormcoil Engine into the graveyard here. Hey, where does it do stuff? I don't think I want to pay life for Karn. It's possible I do. 2 life, 2 lightning bolts used already. Maybe this is fine, then this card won't be sitting in my hand forever. Alright, do I just tutor for a painter? Probably just tutor. You stifling me? I can also just get second Ensnaring Bridge. I like that. Okay, that would have been a savage turn for them to have to Brazen Power since I decided to tap out for Karn. Maybe I should have just waited. Okay, cool. Now I'll just, plus Karn on something and, kind of wait things out. I actually don't like that draw. That means I kind of want to use some of these cards because otherwise Delver can attack. If I tap this Ancient Tomb, I open myself up to double Bolt. I just start blowing up my opponent's lands. Again, that's tapping Ancient Tomb, though. I think if I am going to make myself vulnerable to stuff, I need to play Painter. Okay. You have fourth bolt right now. You have the fourth bolt right now. That's super unfortunate. Because the Pyroblasts don't do anything till the Painter's in play. Alright. Cool. Alright, I want 3 bolts versus Delver. They also probably want access to the Magus of the Moon to just shut off my opponent's blue and green mana. I don't love Karn versus Delver. Really mana intensive. I think I'm just going to board in my other Painter and Grindstone. Let's maybe not play things that cost me life here. Maybe go down one of these. Something like that. Maybe the LED is worse. But LED provides some of the turbo hands. Nope. This is fine, but I wish I had better mana. Because I have 2 of these, I'm just going to jam one on turn 1. Like I want my opponent to be spending resources on my Painters with this hand. I I think I'm supposed to just run this back. I can play around days by playing City of Traders, but then I just open myself up to not making land drops in the future, and I think that's too awkward. I am very much not favored in this game. All right. At first you don't succeed, just play the third fucking painter in a row. At this point, I probably blast anything that gets pointed at the painter. There's one left in my deck. What is the plan? Just get lucky, top deck grindstone. GG. It was a shuffle off the ponder. That's a dead draw. I think I have to protect this here, even though I don't really want to. Alright. So my opponent plays a threat now. I am in a lot of trouble. Fold. Become a little awkward if my opponent wastelands the bad lands specifically. Then my next land drop isn't super profitable. Alright. Not bad. Plague Engineer, Magus, and Painter are all totally reasonable here. I think I'm going to go for a Mise. I'm pretty far behind. Opponent has used 3 of their removal spells already. One of their dazes was pitched to a force. Alright. Unfortunate. Now my opponent knows it's coming and can plan for it. They can also just, like, flash in Brazen Borrower in response to Magus and probably just kill me before I'm in a good enough position to take advantage of my opponent's, like, lockout potential. Okay, well, they took that possibility away there. That's good news for me. Oh, they got another land back, so that possibility is back on the table. Well, I don't have much of a choice here. Yep. Drawing a Snaring Bridge would be hot. Ready would be okay. I have one painter left in my deck. If my opponent has a lightning bolt, I can't beat that card anyway. Might as well take my damage. I think I choose them since I'm basically dead on board. And Orions. Can't block two things. I can block one in the air or one on the ground and then die to the other one. Right. GG's. This hand does nothing. This hand also does nothing. With one more land, I can get a very early Wormcoil Engine, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to keep a hand on the strength of that when I don't have the ability to cast that currently. It also requires me to get Badlands and opens me up to Wasteland. It's borderline. Maybe I keep this because going to 5 starts to get into some pretty risky territory. I'm not happy with this hand. Oh? Like seeing Marsh Flats. Oh, still a blue deck. Oh, it's a Hogaak deck. Oh god. Give me a Hogaak. Damn it. There's a world where I make a Hogaak and it is disgustingly good because my opponent's creatures can't block. There's also a world where I just play an Ensnaring Bridge and win. Gonna be a weird game one way or another. Because Ensnaring Bridge isn't an auto win. I can still get milled out. We'll see how things go. Oh, that's super inconvenient. This is the Hogaak from hand. And I missed on my lands. Cool. Missing on the lands probably means that I can't combo off before my opponent kills me. But I can't just go like Painter into land or anything like that. LED could be pretty good. I don't know. I'm probably dead. Don't know exactly what my opponent is thinking about. It seems like if you turn the creature sideways twice, I die. I see. They were figuring out their Cabal therapy. They named Pyroblast. Sure. Might have outright named the painter. Well, no. I guess putting the painter into the graveyard is not great because of Goblin Welder. Am I trading? If I take the Goblin Welder out of play, then my opponent can Cabal Therapy Bridge. I guess I don't. Because drawing a soul land plus bridge does things on current board. But life's bad. Opponent also saw my sick reanimate tech, so now they can play around that for future games. Okay, so my opponent is the blue version of Hogaak. That means they'll have Hedron Crab. And alright, I lost Reanimate, sure. Alright, I just failed to do anything this game. Like, that was a risk of that hand, but I kept a hand that had a plan, and then missed out on 4 draw steps. And also missed out on Reanimate Hogaak. Alright, something interesting going on upstairs. I don't know that I really get to sideboard much. I don't want access to this over maybe one of those. Like, I could try to punch a hole in my opponent's game plan via Thoughtseize, but my opponent's deck is really redundant. My opponent will probably get a couple of, like, Force of Virtue, Collector Oof, quality cards that will hose me, but I'm not really improving against them. I have a turn 2 Goldfish. Let's fucking go. I'll still maybe get got by something like a Force of Virtue. Cabal Therapy would name Banner Servant if my opponent has it. Future Dimp, huh? Okay, so I get to play around 1 card. I probably play around Force of Virtue. Force of Vigor, sorry, not Force of Virtue. Because I don't expect Hogaak to have 1 mana removal. So I can either just play a Goblin Engineer next turn and try to get it back, or I can pay for this off LED, and then I just win if I draw any mana source. I think I'm supposed to play the longer game here, and not just YOLO this. I can just lose the game to YOLOing and then not drawing a mana source ever. Sure. Sure. Alright. Pretty good. Go to 16 here. 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Damn. 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have to chump block with this and then naturally draw another painter. So I don't want to put a painter into the graveyard. I think I'll put like the Wormcoil Engine or the Ensnaring Bridge. Probably Wormcoil Engine. I'll still just die to beats from these things if I put Ensnaring Bridge into play. Or Great Justice. Draw Painter Servant. That works. Barely, but it works. Alright. Perfectly normal game of Magic. Nothing to see here. Everyone move along. My opponent has had just 2 god hands. Hopefully things are a little slower this time. Do I want to just board in my Painter and Grindstone? Because these games have been so blisteringly fast. I want to do that. Burns out. Painter in. Grindstone in. Engineer in. That means I don't have access to this 3 of effectively Tormod's Crypt. I think I'm good with that. Do this. And dunk 1 blast. I don't think I want to fight on either the Thoughtseize or the Lightning Bolt axis. Okay. I've kept a very good 6-card hand that can't cast this Reanimate. Worth taking 2 to double Grindstone this turn? Probably not. I just really want to respect my life total as a resource here. I'm already probably taking 6 more from my own Ancient Tomb over the rest of this game. Okay, we got a miss on the front half of Therapy, which is great. Sure. Now I'll lose Goblin Engineer, I'll get hit for 2, and then I'll lose Imperial Recruiter, probably. I might lose Reanimate. Reanimate costs me life. Can't cast a Reanimate, though. I'd probably lose Recruiter. Cool. Cool. At least I drew the land. My opponent's hellbent. Could really use them bricking a draw here. Okay. Honestly, it's pretty tempting to just get like Magus of the Moon here and shut off my opponent's mana. I'm in fact gonna do that. I think I'll win the long game. My opponent can't cast spells other than Force of Vigor. If I force them to Cabal Therapy this, I'm good with that. Okay. Might just have something like Vengevine rotting in their hand. Possible I'm not even supposed to attack here. And I'm just supposed to hold this back to block a potential hasty Vengevine. But I don't really think I get to be that picky here. I believe I will be reanimating the Magus. Strong. Also allows me to start grindstoning myself without losing life. Oh, we just win the match there. Good job, little painter. I mean, I guess the credit goes to the Magus. Good job, little Magus. Okay. I've kept an opening hand that has some options for how I can choose to play things out. Playing against Death and Taxes, that might mean I want to get the Smuggler's Copter into play before Athalia comes down and it costs 3. Also the line that allows me to put this Wormcoil engine into the graveyard and weld it back in, which is sick. Oh, maybe playing against Espervile instead. Looking good. Damn it. Do it again. Against the Swords to Plowshares deck, though, the Wormcoil engine doesn't just mean game over. I think it's the plan now. Play Engineers so I can double spell. Yes? They don't want to not produce a worm coil engine this turn. Okay. Are we playing against Splash, Death, and Taxes then? Put a bridge in there. And a painter. I don't have anything that can get rid of the Revoker immediately, right? No. Okay. Cool. Well, you're working with over there. Like some sort of confirmation about what you're actually doing. Okay. Straight up fucking cast Worm Coil Engine here. Probably. Third Swords to Plowshares, table flip. I don't understand not shutting off Goblin Engineer if you had the opportunity to. If I had Grindstone, you... Well, I guess I could have shut off Grindstone instead, but, like, it seems like it would have been a good idea. To shut off something that just absolutely wrecks me. God, Plague Engineer is fucking savage here. I was just gonna get Painter, but that's really good. Just confirm. This is Fire Exceed now, right? Yep. Cool, cool. I want to weld out their Batter Skull and give them a Revoker. Kind of cute. Yes. Nah. I'll do other cute things instead. Sure. Oh shit, the germ is Phyrexian? That's fucking hilarious. Probably should have played LED out pre-combat, but I don't think it matters. I get to do a lot of derpy value-oriented things. Sure. Okay. Let's do this while it's safe, I suppose. Weld you. For you. Now we produce multiple bodies here. Get a painter's servant. They are red. Sacrifice the lifelinker in order to do that. We'll name blue with this, and this is an opportunity to just get rid of that batter skull forever. Go ahead and do that. Good turn. I respect the concession. I like the tools that I have access to. Reanimate can let me do some real weird things here. I don't know that I'm sideboarding. Like, I could go down on some blasts for some lightning bolts or something. Accomplish similar things. Trim one of each of these for some bolts. I'm keeping in mind that something like Meddling Mage still could exist in my opponent's deck. I'm gonna go down one engineer for one more lightning bolt, I think. On the draw, that effect seems super good. Just want the ability to answer an early, like, Revoker or Thalia that's just mucking with me deploying my cards. And is medium minus, but I think I keep it. Plague Engineer is just really strong in a starting hand versus Death and Taxes. Now I can play around Wasteland if I want. Not sure that I want. That means I can't Plague Engineer next turn if I go and get Basic Mountain. I think that's fine. I could also just grab Badlands here. Because, like, there's this Rashad Port on board, so, like, I'm going to have colors to worry about. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Then I can have the sequence of get ported this turn, play Badlands, then get ported again, play City of Traders. Well, totally fine with how this has played out since I drew another land. Sure. Island Athalia. Just playing Painter Servant. Looping it on the table. Probably. It's a play that doesn't require me to play the City of Traders this turn, which can be really awkward. It also allows me to Power Blast Vial next turn. Sure. Okay. Sure. That's not a bad play. If my opponent doesn't have another creature, devastatingly good. I don't know if I'm supposed to go that deep yet, though. Spring Bridge isn't great currently because of all this mana denial. Grabbing a Painter's Servant isn't great because the Revoker's still here. I can Plague Engineer that. That is my turn. I can also just play Dredge, sack my Grindstone, blow up the Vial. And assume that I might be able to outvalue my opponent if they're... Yeah, I don't hate just blowing up the Vial, taking no chances with it. Cool. Now, they didn't have a 2-drop, so that means Karn would have been the better play in a vacuum, but whatever. Now my opponent has to choose between denying me mana and advancing their board. If they don't advance their board, I pull ahead. If they don't deny me mana, I pull ahead. Sure. I think you have to go all in on denying me mana if you want to actually stop me from doing stuff, though. I don't think this gets there. The easiest way to assemble the full combo is to grab Grindstone here, but I'm just going to grab Painter's Servant. I have this Blast in hand. And I would like to use the Blast to just blow up my opponent's planes. I think that just ends the game. Sure. Huh? Uh-huh. We'll do it a different way. Yes. Grab the liquid metal coating here. I'll use that to effectively port my opponent's planes for that turn cycle, so they can't play anything that impacts the board. And if they continue to port me down, I'm good with that. I will pull very far ahead. I don't really understand why my opponent is playing so many Phyrexian Revokers right now. I actually grabbed this. Is Magus of the Moon in my deck right now? No, Magus isn't in my deck. Oh, okay, then I'll grab this. Yeah, I don't understand why my opponent wants to play so many Revokers when I think the best expected deck in the format is Blue-Red Delver, and Revoker is just a dead card there. Blow that up. Grab a Painter Servant. Left up Mountain, technically. And I can't be wastelanded off my counterspell. That's what I thought. I don't think my opponent played that game in a way that gave them good outs. So I think early on, if they were going to go for the mana denial based strategy, they needed to both wasteland me and Rashad import me rather than taking the half measure. Their half measure allowed me to get that Plague Engineer into play, kill their creature. Then like they didn't deploy anything else after their Ether Vial was gone. Yeah. This hand doesn't have enough mana to do its stuff. Hey. Maybe Smuggler's Copter can fix this hand. I play it on 1. I think I play it on 1. Our opponent is a fan of the podcast. Anyway, I think I play it on 1 because I have, like, Painter, Welder, Engineer that I can draw and then crash in with it. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, shit. maybe they don't have anything else. Maybe that's their turn. Everything will be fine. Everything is not gonna be fine. Everything is not going to be fine. We are playing against Dredge. Faithless Looting is gonna happen. Hogaak Grave Troll is gonna happen. Bridges are gonna happen. So basically, I'll need to combo my opponent out very quickly. God, that's all 4 bridges. Is there a therapy in there? There is a therapy in there. I might just die next turn. Double therapy, 16 power. Plus there's still 1 Faithless Looting left. Yikes. Surely they know I'm Painter, right? After Smuggler's Copter. Not gonna concede here. Maybe I will concede here. Actually, it's taking my opponent too long to name here. I'm gonna concede. I'm not winning this game. Alright. I am not very good against Dredge. Like, I have 1 Tormod's Crypt. The fact that Surgicals aren't in my sideboard is kind of kicking me in the butt, but I really thought I was going to need Lightning Bolts for Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler decks. Reanimate's kind of funny, but probably not what I need here. I think I go Grindstones and Painters in. Have an increased chance of comboing quickly. Could use Duretti to break bridges. I don't know that's good. On the play, I think I can take Thoughtseize. I don't know that it's doing anything meaningful on the draw. Plague Engineer technically does stuff, but it's weird. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's really bad. Let's not. Maybe not. Primary wish target is an Ensnaring Bridge, which I think is good. Well, it's Ensnaring Bridge and Tormod's Crypt, depending on this situation. This is 60. Let's try this. Also, like, one of my painters randomly doesn't match. I think I keep this. This is turn 2 Tormod's Crypt. It also just has a lot of mana, so that if we draw a Painter, we can probably win quickly. Story of this league is, damn, I wish I had Surgical, though. We'll see. Okay. Fine. Those are Dredgers. 5 total, right? 5 total. This shuts off the Lotus Petal as a mana source as well. Sure. Now I'm going to move phases. Green mana could just blow up my Grindstone. Could be, what is it, Nature's Claim. Negative. I will 100% just pull the trigger here. I don't need to buy much time. I have the Painter's Servant in hand. I also could just draw another Soul Land and produce Mycosynth Lattice and win that way. Basically, I have options. Ooh, the old Hardcast the Narcomoeba. Respect it. Edges against Mycosynth Lattice kill. And I think I go for the kill now. Nice. Okay, so the game on the draw is way harder. Do I still keep Thoughtseizes? Probably still keep Thoughtseizes. Yeah, the stuff that I would be bringing in is of medium quality. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep the sideboarding plan as is. All right, my opponent has mulligan to 6. My hand does nothing. Opponent has mulligan to 5. This hand goes Engineer on turn 1, get Ensnaring Bridge, turn 2, produce an Ensnaring Bridge, but still have a handful of things in my hand. Is that good enough? My opponent might have an Ashen Rider that gives them an out to Ensnaring Bridge. Or they might have some other artifact removal. This is not a hand that can kill quickly. This is a hand that can turtle up. I think I keep this. Actually, maybe I throw back a Welder. Or if my Engineer gets taken by discard on turn 1. It would probably be taken by Cabal Therapy. Yeah, alright, let's do this. Yeah. This is for all the marbles. This is for whether or not I break even for this league. Although I'll still honestly be happy enough with a 2-3 finish after how badly I played against the fucking post deck. Okay, my opponent mulliganed to 3 and put a Leyline of Sanctity into play. So we'll be looking to win via not Painter combo. A bunch of the Reanimator decks are playing like a 1 or 2 of Leyline of Sanctity. What is going on upstairs? There's like a child falling over or something. My Magus boarded in? My Magus is not boarded in. That would have been a good way to mize this game. I'll also just get Wormcoil Engineer. Dude, I fucked up. I was supposed to just play Goblin Welder this turn, and then Goblin Engineer next turn and create a Wormcoil Engine. Good. I get Bridge now? No, let's kill my opponent. But I could have had this Wormcoil Engine attacking one turn earlier. One turn earlier. Maybe this is fine. We'll see. Like, my opponent mulliganed to 3. There's a bunch of dredgers in the graveyard now. They are playing real Magic. Thank you, Thoughtseize. Right on time. Yeah, I wonder if I'm going to lose this one because I didn't think about the correct line quickly enough. The good news is, like, Bridge from Below isn't really going to be good against me, because I can double Weld Wormcoils and clear bridges. That's a super dope line. Or did my opponent just... Oh no, they did Dredge. They just didn't hit anything cool. Alright, so Goblin Engineer can attack. Yes. The other 2 Welders I'll leave up. There's a world where I can produce an extra mana and play Imperial Recruiter here. I go Great Furnace, Weld, Great Furnace into Wormcoil, Weld Wormcoil back into Great Furnace, then play Imperial Recruiter for Painter. But then I can't break bridges on my opponent's turn, and I think I would rather break bridges on my opponent's turn and have, like, surprise sexy Wormcoil. Alright, no bridges yet. My opponent can't really attack in. Wall Therapy resolves. Reanisphere. I respect it. Just name the thing you absolutely could beat in no possible world when you just have no idea what could be in their hand. That's fair. Although if I had Trinisphere, I would have deployed it last turn. Alright, I choose this one, and I choose this one. And then I choose this one, and I choose this one. So I end up with the same amount of power, but split across two bodies. Darn, I am a little... Or am I? 1, 2. Weld into pedal again? No, I can get to Karn. Does getting to Karn do anything? Yeah, getting to Karn gets crypt. That does a thing. Alright, this round I am digging Painter. Painter feels like a good deck this round. Never mind the fact that my opponent mulliganed to 3. Weld land for Lotus Petal. And I have to click this one. Let's weld Lifelinker for land. Minus. More mods crypt. I've gotten the GGs. Man, that was super neat. I'm very happy with how many moving parts we had in that last match there. Want to crack that treasure chest, YouTube? If we rip a sick Modern Masters card. Modern Horizons card, excuse me. Open them all 2 of them. Nope. No sick value. Alright. So that's out of the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list one more time. How do we feel about the Reanimpainter? I never boarded in this Inkwell Leviathan. It's something I would have boarded in if we played against a slower control deck where flooping that into play was just something they couldn't answer well. So if we played against, say, a Grixis control deck or a Miracles deck or a Bant deck, I would have boarded it in. But not having access to Surgical was a little scary. So I might go down on these 2 for 2 Surgicals, or like maybe you go down on 1 Lightning Bolt. I would be looking at cutting some number of these 3 cards to have at least 2 Surgicals in the deck list. Overall, the deck list felt fine. I don't know that I found the one. Like, I don't know that I ever found the Painter deck that I like best. I don't know if you're supposed to play it as a turbo combo deck that has the ability to grind with more Lion's Eye Diamonds. I don't know if you want another color. A lot of the builds are another color. Red-white's common, so that you have access to better cards versus, say, like combo decks. You get things like Aethersworn Canonist. Overall, I'm happy with this league. This league started out looking a little bit rough, but we really clutched it through in the end. Let me know if you have any thoughts, especially if you watched a couple of these Painter videos about like what version of Painter you think is best, because I'm really not sure. We put up pretty good results with this one, but that doesn't mean that this one is the one that's the best if you want to be walking into a tournament. Anyway, have a great rest of the day. If this is your first time here, please consider, liking the video, subscribing, maybe ringing that little bell that turns on notifications if you really want to be fancy. All right, good luck, get out there, battle with some Modern Horizons 2 cards.